Welcome to the Big Play Tailgate, everybody. Tony Zarella, Chuck Booms, Bob Golick. We're just out of the snow globe here. Spectacular win for the Browns. Talking Browns Steelers, revisiting Saints as well. Jameis Winston putting up some numbers, and the Cavaliers, obviously, with the best numbers in the NBA. Let's start with this game, though, on national TV at home in the snow globe. As I said, this was, Chuck, everything we want as Browns fans in late November.
I still have my hat on, and I watched it in the house. Yes, it says holidays are coming. It's Browns Steelers. I thought about Bob, I'll be honest. Most of the game I was on the phone with friends saying, how could you not think of Golick? He's got to be somewhere going, I got to get my hands in that dirt and that mud and that slush. It had every single thing you would want, including all my friends from California calling, saying, don't build a dome, you idiot. This is the best thing I've ever seen. So It was great.
Actually, I did one of our coaches, the guy that was from Toledo, Chudzinski, was that one of them?
Chud?
Yeah, Chud.
Yeah.
He talked about how he was a Browns fan, and on days like this, he would take the TV and aim it out the window. And then he would go outside in the snow and watch the game like he's out. I did that.
You did that?
Which sadly he was doing shortly after a loss to the Steelers back in the day. I don't think he was allowed back on the bus for the ride home. Bob, do you like games like that as a player?
I love games like that. Are you kidding me? Guys falling down for no apparent reason. And I never thought I'd ever see again a uniform with mud on it. Not artificial mud, real mud.
They weren't seeing much.
Can I tell you what it is,
yes,
Tone? There's a unifying thing that I think is really cool. It doesn't matter if you're a black athlete, if you're a white athlete, if you're one of the rich diva athletes, or if you're kind of the unknown white guy on special teams athlete. The one thing the snow globe games, as Tony appropriately called it, brings out is the kid inside of everybody. It really does. We all did it.
Well, Steelers,
we all did it in the backyard.
We were talking earlier, the Steelers, they scored that one time. 5 guys laid down and started doing snow angels.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure it was planned, but I bet they had fun.
What do you make of the fact that they got 3 wins now, and 2 have come against
Well, mathematically, according to the radio.
Don't do it. I'm going to save you from yourself. Don't do it. Really. Somewhere in town, someone on a radio station is doing well if they win out.
Hold on. And then
what do you make, though, of the
Houston
fact...
loses
Bob, I'll go to you.
then...
What do you make of the fact that of the 3 wins, they've beaten the Ravens, who were in first, and the Steelers, who were in first?
And the Jaguars, who were in last.
Right.
It seems that they respond well to pressure and competition. And evidently, they don't play well against crappy teams.
No.
What does that mean? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I guess game planning. Guys, well, with the Steelers, too, we're talking about rival, supposedly. I don't even know how much that rivalry is still there. But, we've won, what'd they say, 5 out of 6?
Well, real quick, I want you to jump in, but real quick, as a former player, 3-time Pro Bowler, we talk about rivalries. Do players really play differently one week than they do another based on who they're playing? You're a professional football player.
I didn't, but there were some of the players were not very bright. And, no, I don't.
Do they care they're playing the Steelers? I guess to a degree, right?
I'm telling you, the Steelers are on national TV this morning saying there's a reason they lost, and it's because they get up for the Ravens game that they just played, and that's where they put everything on, and they're pumped up and talking about it in the locker room, and there's more bruises, more bumps, and then after that they play the Browns, and they're like, and so there's got to be something to it.
What's the difference between last night's game and then the Saints game, where with 2 minutes left, a white running back runs 75 yards untouched for a touchdown? I mean, that there had to be.
That was a dome.
With the dome, but it had to be some kind of letdown at that point.
It does seem, Bob, that, and this is what's baffling. They clearly were up for that game on Thursday night. Okay, this is going to air on Saturday and Sunday on FanDuel and of course on all the apps and YouTube, but so we're going to refer to Thursday night as Thursday.
And we
night.
want it on FanDuel, Ohio, by the Cavs.
And you know what, too?
There got to be something to it, though.
I mean, something to it. I think most people buying it. We bought into the rivalry thing mainly because I had to. It was Mike Webster twice a year for 7 years.
The best.
And so I had to be on my best behavior. and or he would take me out. But I think everybody, and we got a lot of our impetus from the fans too.
Yes.
When you got to the stadium and the fans are going crazy, and you see the Steelers, all it does is bring back those old memories when you were 10 and you picked the Browns and your stupid little
Let me
brother
talk
picked
about
the
the
Steelers.
fans.
So
And the rivalries, real quick, are the cities. That's what the rivalry is. Pittsburgh and Cleveland are close together. It's the same people. We just don't say we just don't say Ewans and third down.
It's Yins.
but beyond
whatever.
that, though, they're similar cities.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
we're
I'm saying.
talking about
They're
old Rust Belt
carbon
cities.
copies,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
there's a
Let me
rivalry
talk about the
there.
fans. So Ryan Fitzpatrick made a comment after the game, like, these fans are incredible. I mean, you saw this. No one left.
No.
Right? It's awful weather. You're not sure if they're going to score, whatever. So it gets back to this dome conversation that you referenced, okay? I love those moments when you have a snow globe game. I don't know how many
Yes.
you have.
Not many.
You know, when they play the Saints and it's 15 below and there's no snow and it's not charming, it's a different animal and the wind's coming. It's not comfortable for anybody.
You remember all of
But-
them. There was a Charger
But
game.
man,
down
I'd
at
hate to lose
stadium.
that. I'd hate to lose that element.
Well, Buffalo has decided, Bob, that they're not going to have a dome, and they're building a brand new stadium. And they asked the fans, 89% said, and then they did the season ticket holders as well. So they asked Bills Mafia. They said no dome, new stadium, outdoors.
Do you
That's
think, do you
because
think the
that's
Browns would do that? Do you think they'd turn to the fans to find out, or are they going to? Will they turn to Huntington? and
Buffalo
find out
also
what they
must have
want?
better. It's not only the team did it, but the city did it.
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
this
saying.
city doesn't seem to do many things right.
Do you want a dome or not moving
No,
forward?
I don't want a dome. I hate to say it, and I know there's a lot of guys that are going, I don't like playing outside. But get over it. You're probably
football.
You're probably going to get cut next year anyway.
It's
So
football.
quit your
You're in the
whining.
elements.
Yeah, you're in your elements. It goes back to the Ice Bowl, to all those things that are so. Well, they're in our mind, in our memories.
But it
Maybe
changes
not
the
some
game.
of the kids today, but
you wouldn't have the Bart Starr
But you had
thing,
to.
up at Lambeau.
It
and
changes the
Brian
game.
Sipe.
Listen, Nick Chubb, God bless him, is up until now is not the same runner that he was before the injury.
Looked good
However,
last night.
he looked good last night, and he put the dagger in him last night, and a
was
little
great.
redemption for him after what happened with him last year
Yep.
with the injury. The point is, those games are tailor-made for someone like that.
Yes,
You know?
and one more point on the rivalries. The reason it is a rivalry, and I think that the players understand that, is we all have in our minds different things from just Steelers-Browns. I remember Tim Couch beating them at Three Rivers and going in and flexing it like this, and then he flipped off the entire stadium. The Browns won, I believe, the last game ever at Three Rivers on the Dawson field goal. There's some Turkey Joe Jones
matters.
Turkey Joe Jones picks up Bradshaw, dumps him on. So there's so many things that happen. Those memories conjure up this. And when we're sitting here on Cleveland TV talking about Steelers this, Steelers that, and they're in Pittsburgh doing the same thing, only now they're really pissed off, looking forward to when we go there. So I think there definitely is something to Steelers-Browns, because I grew
Well, we
up
know
with it,
that.
and
Yeah,
it still
I
continues.
just didn't know if the players really, as
I
professionals.
actually, my 7th year
Yeah, we
with
gotta
the
go.
Browns,
Yeah.
I sent flowers to Mike Webster. And I said, I've been playing against you longer than I've been married.
Did it help?
No,
Okay.
not even close.
And he
Good
never
effort,
wore
though.
he never wore sleeves. Webster.
All right, more. I want to talk Jameis Winston when we come back. Cavaliers are on the docket for today, ahead or behind, and your NFL picks as the Browns rest up over the weekend. But you're getting busy with the point spreads, that and more when the tailgate continues. And back here on the tailgate, Chucky Booms, I'm coming to you because you have
I'm
been
right
very outspoken and correct about the idiotic move to not keep Joe Flacco here in the wings in case Deshaun, which he did, melted down on the field. So here's the question. Jameis Winston is putting up some serious numbers over the past 4 games in these starts, and he's won 2 of them. He's put up an average of 295 a game. Has he done enough? Do you see enough? A chemistry with him to keep him around next year as the starter?
I'll let you know as the season progresses, but I've been pretty happy with what I've seen. Much of it looks like the Flacco offense, the play action, get it out quick, quick strikes down the field. So I've been very happy with that. What it really makes you think, and I can't go a whole show without trashing Andrew Barry, but I mean,
Wait, you made it-
what time is
You
it?
made
Line
it.
two.
You made it
How
8
long?
minutes.
Line two.
Line 2, Andrew's on. It makes you so angry to know that there were, how many weeks did we sit here and go, when is it time?
7.
When is it time? My God, he looks terrible. He's lost. Why are we just, well, you paid him a lot, but you're throwing the whole
Right.
season away for Myles Garrett and all the other guys on the team. It's ridiculous.
And you wouldn't have the bad response remember when there were some people who were happy that Deshaun got hurt because it got him out. And if you'd just done as a staff or as a front office, what you should have done, which was forget everything else and put the right person in there.
Yes.
Obviously, Deshaun wasn't doing anything. There wouldn't be this weird love-hate thing with Deshaun.
What were they afraid that the crowd was going to chant, put Deshaun back in?
No, it was
that
the
wasn't
no,
going to
no,
happen.
no. It was they were not going to admit. We've said
Oh,
this before.
God.
The sin
Now
wasn't.
you're gonna do it.
The
Go
sin
ahead.
wasn't necessarily signing Deshaun Watson, making that trade, giving up all the picks, spending the $230. That's okay. You did it. We get it. You rolled the dice. You need a top 10 guy. You thought it might be him. It wasn't him. Okay, that's not the sin. The sin is sticking with him for 7 games, and you're losing 6 of them, and you can't put 3 touchdowns on the board in any game. That's it. The season's over.
I mean, the minute that he's got to throw the pass, it's 4th down, time's running out. It has to go into the end zone. It has to go into the end zone. And he never even gets the pass off. You've got to have a coach that goes, oh, for God's sakes, there's 6-year-olds that know how to do this. He's got to go. And each week gets bubbling, but I thought you were going to go to your favorite. It's like, well, they don't want to let us know if we take him out early that this was a bad move. We already know I know it's a bad move. You made the trade on my birthday.
And you're already paying
March
him.
18th.
What do you think who's really making the decision? Is it the coaches just dragging their feet, or are they being told from upstairs that, hey,
Upstairs.
we put a lot of money into this guy. We got to keep him in there. I would imagine coaches, Stefanski had to know that it was time for him to come out.
I don't think
Yeah.
Stefanski ever wanted this
Yeah,
guy.
right.
Ever.
I don't.
I think he
and
knew
I
it was
think
time.
and I think Watson, now that when we look back and find out things, you're going to find out that Alex Van Pelt, a little birdie, told me, went to them at the end of the year and said, we can't win with this guy.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, he's no good.
So
and
let's
then,
get rid of Alex Van
That's
Pelt.
right. So
Yeah,
anybody
that's
that
it.
went in and
Frumph.
voiced that. So then after that started to happen, Bill Callahan, who loved being here, said, yeah, if that's going to be forced down our throat again, and I got to get my offensive line to defend this idiot, then I'll go work with my son down in Tennessee. Each thing that happened was all because Andrew Barry wouldn't say, this is garbage. It didn't work. I made a mistake. Yeah. And you know what, Andrew? It's going to cost you your damn job, and it's sure better. At least when John Lynch and Shanahan sent all those picks to get Trey Lance, they didn't even have to see enough on the field during games. They saw it in practice and said, he's no good.
Yeah.
And now you got $75 million guaranteed going to Deshaun this year.
Oh,
And I think it's $74 million next year, and you're not gonna see him. Which I think that's the anger. I think that's the thing that really angered all the other teams. Oh my God, you're guaranteeing what, the whole thing? You know, it was
wanna
like
see
it's
anger,
like when
Bob?
it's
Watch them start to win now, because we'll be showing up every week going, can you believe it? Now they're 6-8. Now they're 7-8.
Right.
And they're still out of it. But they could have been in it, and you could have had another Flacco year. But they did it. Not us, not commentators, not the great fans that were at the Snow Globe game.
Yeah.
They did it, and they have to pay a price.
That's right. And this is why heads blow up when you hear people talking about, there's a scenario where Deshaun comes back. No, there's no scenario.
All right.
you
Zero.
check with those guys and you look to see if they get that little
I'm
earpiece
sorry,
in.
Chuck.
This
What
is
was
for
that?
Ryan.
Repeat that.
This is for Ryan. It's time for the Cleveland Radio Apologist of the Week, which may have to be changed to the dumbest radio comment of the week. This one is a runaway freight train for my friend Ken Carmen, who nobody could come up with this if they tried, unless somebody from Berea sent a memo. He said, I've been doing a lot of thinking, and I do have a theory on how everybody can come back. Barry, Stefanski, everybody comes back.
Stefanski should come back.
Ready for what the theory was, Bob? That it's Deshaun Watson's people and his entourage that caused all the problems and the rifts and all that. It really...
Who allowed that?
Yeah, I know.
Who allowed that?
I know. It's like, not only who allowed it, somebody still traded to get this guy. It's got his entourage fired Alex Van Pelt, and they're saying yes. That's what he's saying. That they went and said to the owner, that guy doesn't run the offense we need for Deshaun. So he's got to go. Yeah. And then he's got to go. And I'm saying, you just said it perfectly. Who would have allowed that?
Right.
And if you did allow that, now you doubly should be fired.
Right. I mean, that's the move they got to make. And Stefanski
Ken,
should come back. There's no question about that. And he needs a quarterback, and everybody that he's put in there, not named Deshaun Watson, has performed in this offense.
Yes.
So, okay, now you're seeing it with Jameson. It's a great story, too. I mean, you talk about a guy who's been down and out in the NFL. How can you not root for this guy? And he's out there.
Sounds like Flacco. He said last night, I'm having so much fun. The locker room's coming alive. The problem is they waited too long.
Yeah, we all know that. We all know that it was too long. In fact, 2-3 games probably would have been enough for most people. And the idea that he's out there now, I think. But I don't know if they keep him as number one. Certainly, they're going to let him compete for number one. Who the number one would be, to be named later.
Well, we'll find out.
But you notice they still haven't said, they still don't have the guts to say, he's not playing here ever again. We're going to eat the money. That's what the fans want to hear. Get to a microphone, Andrew, and admit it was a god-awful trade, worst in the history of the NFL, worst in the history of sports.
They're never going to do it, Chuck.
And we know it.
They're never going to do it.
Then they're going to be fired.
Well, they should be. With Jameis, you're going to get the mistakes. You're going to get the interceptions. Wasn't tragic on Thursday night. He had the fumble. He threw the pick. Okay, Flacco did too.
So
Flacco, but then the key is, God, we say this forever. The key is good quarterbacks, upper level quarterbacks, come back after the pick, and they make the play, which he did on 3rd and 7, which he did to get him down the field in a blizzard.
And Flacco,
I gotta go to a break.
And Flacco, Bob, and Jameis Winston have a characteristic of a Hall of Famer that every one of us loved watching. It was John Madden's favorite football player ever, and that's Brett Favre. You knew he was going to do dumb things. You knew you were a Packer fan going, oh, my God, don't throw that. And then he comes back.
So you're comparing Jameis Winston to Brett Favre?
No, but that's the equivalent.
I know. I'm just joking.
All right.
I see the guy.
We got to go to a break. You throw to the break.
Hey, let's go to the break.
All right, we get you all fired up here on the tailgate. Let's go to Ryan. He's got some breaking news as we record this.
Yes, the New York Giants, to no surprise, have cut Daniel Jones. They'll take on over $20 million in dead cap. The Danny Dimes era in New York is officially over.
Well, I should have had my Karnak hat on. I mean, we just did this. We just said, you've got to get to a microphone and say he's never coming back. Deshaun Watson is never coming back.
You're the one that called him Danny Dimes. But he's never earned that nickname.
He's got a lot of dimes now.
You have to do something to get a nickname?
But don't you
can't give it to yourself.
Don't you admit that now the Giants have come forward and said this was a mistake to give him all this money? We're going to take the cap hit. We're going to take the dead cap hit. There's another one next year,
because there's no way that Deshaun's coming back. He's not coming back this year. He's not going to next year. I don't even see they're going to give him a shot for number one. For the number one thing.
Any team. You're saying.
Any team. I think he's done. NFL. I think nobody believes that he can find. People next year are going to go, I can't. We don't even know if he can find the good games that he played in Cleveland, let alone what he did down in Houston. So I think he's pretty much done in the National Football
I
League.
think he's done it in the National Football League too, but then that goes back to what Tony always says, which is Bob Golick knows, Tony Zarella knows, Chuck Booms knows, Ryan knows, everybody watching this show knows, which is now into the millions.
Then why are
And
we telling
all
him?
know that this guy is done. But what the hell is Andrew Barry doing? Andrew, call up the Giants and ask him for the script. I don't care. Just scratch out Danny Dimes and write in.
I'm dying to know. How'd you tell him?
Yeah.
What did you
It's
say?
very interesting. We had a presser. There was a mic, and I said that stiff is gone. That's all you got to do.
They're never gonna do it. I'm telling you. And we'll be here in the off season on this set.
Week 14.
Right,
Why
I'm
can't
telling
they
you right
tell
now.
us?
No, I'm saying after this season, we're gonna
God.
be here.
Oh,
We're gonna be
God.
talking about this, Bob.
Yeah.
We're gonna be saying people are gonna be the beat
Mary
writers.
Kay Cabot
right,
reports
they're gonna-
his Achilles is healing.
Yeah, exactly. The
know.
speculation that he might come back,
Ah.
and it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what they do moving forward. But if you had Jameis in the mix, I thought before last night the best thing for the Browns would be to lose out, because at least you get positioned for a top-tier quarterback. But of course, you can't tell players to do that. They're never going to do that. And they've beaten two good teams, the Ravens and the Steelers. There's a lot to salvage this year. But then where does that put them?
Well,
for a quarterback.
Obviously, they're trading for some draft spots with Za'Darius and some of that. But you can't, everybody says that. They should lose the rest of the games. How do you can't tell players. Players aren't going to do that for you. If you're a coach, maybe you can call the wrong defense and screw up the team. But as a player, you're not going to go out there and
Isn't he in New
half-ass it.
Orleans now?
Yeah. What is
Enough
this?
about Joe Woods.
What is this? What are you reading, Coach?
How about
What's
high
that play
school
from?
Mike?
That plays from that the electric football game. Yeah, that's it. Let's run that one.
Yeah, I love that electric football game. It takes 20 minutes to set them all there, and you click the button, and they all go the wrong direction.
That's
Look, the bottom line is, what difference does it make if we lost every game and they go, now Cleveland has a third pick? If this ding-dong is still over there making the picks,
you're doing my
are you
thing.
kidding? He'll pick Jedrick Will's brother. We
You're doing
can't
my
risk
thing.
that.
You're doing my thing. Until you change who's making the picks, does it really matter who you pick?
No.
well, who picked the number one quarterback, the number one draft, number one round quarterbacks, taking number 22 in the draft? That way, over the history of
Yeah.
the Browns,
Oh,
as
yeah,
we
Brady
go back.
Quinn was 22.
Brady Quinn,
Johnny was
J-
22.
Yeah,
Whedon was
absolutely.
22.
Whedon was
Whedon
22.
was 22. Hey, John Dorsey set the table for you.
Yes.
And then you jettison him, and now, look, we've made the Dorsey argument before. I get it. But you really had something there.
Yes.
And then...
He had a football guy.
Well, and on the field, you really had something
Yeah.
there. Like, you really were in position to compete, or contend is the better word. And I don't know that window has closed. They certainly seem, when you have a different quarterback in there other than Deshaun Watson, that they can play with anybody.
Well, last question. If, and it's for both you guys, if you're Jimmy Haslam and you're the owner, and they start rattling off wins now with Jameis, and you know that this got away from you because of one man in that building, how can you look yourself in the mirror, Jimmy, and not say to yourself, Stefanski didn't ask for Deshaun Watson. He was fine with Baker Mayfield. That guy wanted him, and that guy pushed you till you said yes. And let's not forget how the move happened. People forget this. They made an offer, and he said, no, Cleveland's out. Well, not by now, you lied and pissed off Baker. Now we have no quarterbacks. So Andrew Barry's bargaining position put Haslam in a position where he had to guarantee all the money. That's how dumb Andrew Barry is. I don't give a damn what Ivy League school he went to. It's utterly insane. It makes
It
your
is-
head
it
explode.
is, it
But
is.
the owner is going to have to come to grips with the fact that it's that guy. And I'm glad you had the guts to say, you don't have to get rid of Stefanski. All these schlub quarterbacks that were with him, they look good. So if you let him run his damn offense, but instead you go get a quarterback and then get rid of Alex Van Pelt and everybody to run an offense for a guy who stinks. Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
It really
That's
is
a great way to say it. All right, guess what's on deck, Bob? Come on now. I am
sideways head and behind.
Yes, I am in a slump, and it's time to
Well, you
bust
better
the
do
slump.
good because
Yes,
this
you
is a list that is so timely
can't wait
at
for
home.
this.
You're going to love it.
All right, we'll be back on the tailgate. It is time for Check Game.
No, it's time for the game show Sweeping the Nation, Mr. Zarella.
Don't you
that's
know?
right.
Don't you know?
Well, Bob, you know, from San Diego, California to Kennebunkport, Maine, and from Seattle, Washington, all the way down to Key West, where I'll be meeting up with Cavs' new heartthrob point guard, Ty Jerome, where he plans on teaching me how to take a charge while wearing just my socks. It's a header behind.
All right,
What, that
bring it
was
on
so
because
good.
I got to bust out of this slump here.
That was painful.
Tell Chuck.
Yeah, no
I'm the
kidding.
one taking the charge. Well, we are less than a week away from every human being in the United States of America's favorite day, Bob Golick.
Turkey
gobble,
Day.
Gobble. Tony's I heard the turkey right there, and I have the top 15 dishes that are served during Thanksgiving.
All right.
And right in the middle of the list, no turkey, you're still alive. Right in the middle of the list, one that you can't live without. I went to a thing one time where they didn't have this, I almost walked out. Rolls and butter. How can you not have rolls and butter? I looked on the table, I'm like, where the hell's the butter?
It's a lot of carbohydrates.
Yeah,
You
you
know,
gotta have it.
yeah.
It's first of all, it's the cleanup tool at the end.
You get that Hawaiian.
Yeah,
you get that Hawaiian.
The Hawaiian,
Hawaiian
roll,
ones.
that's fine. I'll
Yeah,
take
okay.
any
Just
roll.
wondering.
I'll take. All right, rolls and butter in the middle of the
All right,
list.
I'm going first.
Tony, you are going first.
Here we go.
Is cranberry sauce. Now, before you answer, are you fresh cranberry or the can that manufactured and you slice it?
Yeah, being from New England, where we give this to you, as you know, I would go with the fresh cranberry sauce.
Yeah, that's also incorrect. Give him the buzzer. You got to have the can.
Nothing like a little gelatin.
I made that up. All right, cranberry sauce. A header behind rolls and
Is
butter.
this based on people's choice or what's good or bad?
No, this
I mean-
is the top. Yeah, what they're ranking
It's
the
ahead.
best. They're
It's
ranking
ahead.
the best.
It's ahead.
It,
This game is so fixed. This is if you ever wonder, like, who's officiating?
we
Who's
were
that
already-
NBA official that tanked the games back in the day?
We were talking on the phone, praying, Bob, that Tony's coming right out of the gate. He goes, I absolutely know it, and he's already done.
And by the way, all these things that you hear here today and things you get with Tony, you don't have to take them to heart.
Yeah.
So if you're trying, hey, maybe we should leave the cranberry sauce out this year because it's behind.
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
I said ahead, and
Yeah,
thank you
it's
for that, by the
yeah.
way,
Yeah.
endorsement. But I
don't
asked,
like that endorsement at all. You just said it's fixed. This isn't
who was
fixed.
that official that fixed the games back in the day? Remember that?
Donahue.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks,
Donahue.
Ryan.
And then there was a guy, David Stern.
Are you
that
just
did
like
it.
a walking book of sports facts over
I
there?
try to be
You are.
best I can.
I can tell you this, he knew cranberry sauce was behind. All right, here we go, Bob. Chance to take a 1-0
makes no
lead.
sense.
Don't look at me like that.
Rolls and butter. Rolls and butter. Right in the middle of the list here are the top Thanksgiving dishes of all time. Call them what you want. My mom made the best. They were dripping in brown sugar. At each bite, I could feel myself getting diabetes. Is candied yams or sweet potatoes, whatever you want to call them, is that a header behind rolls and butter?
That's a head. That's a head, Chuck.
Well, Booms, we have specifically candied yams and sweet potatoes on this list.
Oh, all right. Well, then we'll just go with candied yams. I thought they're the same thing.
Behind.
Oh, jeez.
Come on, man. I said ahead
All right.
for both
Now
of
you
them.
changed your answer.
I can't believe
Don't you
changed
get it? Don't
that,
you
Bob.
start doing
I
that with
can't
me.
believe
You don't
it.
want to. You don't want to lose like a loser.
Well,
do
let
ya?
me
No.
throw
If
Tony.
you-
The audience is begging me, Chuck, let him get on the board.
Let's go.
Fine,
Let's
here we
go.
go.
Let's go.
Rolls and butter in the middle of the list. Since Bob just butchered that,
hate
let's see what
yams.
Tony does with sweet potatoes. Our sweet potatoes, a header behind rolls and butter.
Behind.
I can't believe he got it. I thought, didn't you think, Ryan, I had him tricked there because he was going to go with the head?
I thought a little bit.
Wait, I saw Ryan's head going like up and down, like he was sending a signal to Tony.
I got it.
No,
All right, I'm on the board, Bob.
I have integrity.
Yeah, no, he first of all, he's the commissioner. I'm just the host. He's the commissioner. Any shenanigans. If you have a complaint, you have to go through him. Would you like to protest?
No, I'm on the board.
Well,
on
it's
the board.
denied
Yeah.
anyway. We're not giving you a protest. All right, here we go. Bob, rolls and butter. Time for you to get on the board, my friend. Rolls and butter in the middle of the list of the top Thanksgiving dishes. An easy one. You got to have it on the dish. I like it right next to my whipped potatoes and gravy. Bob, corn. Corn, a header behind of rolls and butter. A lot of butter on the corn and salt.
Can I have a hint? Can I make a call,
Yeah.
Chuck?
Yeah,
Can I
it's
call a
phone a
friend?
friend. No,
Um,
corn.
50-50
Corn.
shot here.
Behind.
Wow, I didn't think he'd got. Wouldn't you have said that?
Yes.
Well, you always miss it.
That's
why you
no. Last
said it.
time I didn't. Let's go. 1-1.
1-1. Here we go. Top Thanksgiving dishes of all time: rolls and butter. If anyone doesn't have rolls and butter, you shouldn't have people over.
Let's go.
And speaking of rolls and butter, Mr. Zarella,
Yes.
a lot of people, and I would think in New England, thinking of the Pilgrims, the first
Yeah,
Thanksgiving,
good kids.
the most traditional of all of them is cornbread.
Right.
The original cornbread. I believe Sacagawea, and I had that once. I took 2 weeks of
sack of what?
Hey,
Sack of
knock that right out.
Yeah, rubbed it right out. Cornbread, the traditional cornbread.
Yeah, but that's not my question, right?
Yeah, that is. A header
are
behind.
you kidding me?
No, cornbread.
That's what I'm getting?
a header behind. Cornbread.
Well, we don't know you're getting it
Come
yet.
on, Tony.
Behind.
I just set you up and said it's New England. It's the first Thanksgiving. The Pilgrims. Jesus, God, Andrew Barry could have got that right. All right, here we go.
But he'd never admit it.
No, and you go to and go, I saw you miss it. I saw you play a header behind.
Nope,
No,
you
I
didn't.
didn't.
Nope,
No,
didn't
I
do
don't
it.
know.
No,
I
I
wasn't
didn't.
me.
That was Paul D.
That
Podesta.
wasn't me. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
For the win.
I can't believe. Bob, is this for the win?
Yeah.
Bob, this is for the win. All right, so here's. A lot of people think this is traditional too. I am not a fan personally. A lot of people like these at a high-end restaurant without Thanksgiving are Brussels sprouts. I didn't know people in Belgium even celebrated. Are Brussels sprouts ahead or behind?
Behind. Did you really? Did you know?
No, he's
Tony was.
I don't know.
Tony was shaking his head no, and I
I
thought
don't
he
know.
was my friend.
Stuffing's number one,
no,
right?
He's not.
I think we got to go to sudden death.
We
Oh,
gotta go to
good. All right,
sudden
good.
death.
Thank you. Well, give me stuffing.
Wait a minute. Let me ask Ty Jerome. Can Tony come to? All right, here we go. This is unbelievable.
All right.
All right.
Tony cheated.
Come on.
This one has become probably the newest staple over the past 35, 40 years. And I remember it going back to my childhood, but it's gotten bigger and better. And now it's just an absolute go-to on your plate. This is also something I love. On the other side of my potatoes, this goes. Tony, for the win, right here with the top Thanksgiving dishes of all time is the now world-famous green bean casserole. Ahead or behind?
Ahead.
One more, quick, me.
All right.
Tell me. I want to win. I want to win.
Jesus. I didn't know this counted, but if somebody left this out, it'd be as dumb as rolls and butter. Bob for the win.
What?
Is gravy. And by the
Oh
way,
my God.
by the way, turkey gravy is not white. That's some crap out of a jar. Real turkey gravy is brown. If you make it with flour, my cousins do it the best. Tip of the hat to Greg and Lynn.
turkey Alfredo
Yeah.
or
Oh,
like
man.
a
You're
turkey
getting
a
the
la
easiest
king.
You're giving him the
Is it
game.
easiest
Gravy?
one?
Yeah, gravy. Are you
God.
kidding me?
Kidding me? Easy. Gravy ahead.
Yeah.
It is a
Oh my God.
Didn't shake your head that time, did you, cheater?
All right. Well, let's go. You said stuffing's
Stuffing's
number one. Is
right.
what's everybody's favorite? Ryan, what's your favorite?
Stuffing.
Tony?
Stuffing.
Bob?
green bean casserole.
It has to be stuffing for me too. Only now, do you call it dressing or stuffing?
Stuffing.
Okay, it's dressing at my house, and we
Stuffing.
use great Grandma Schaefer's recipe. Again, my cousins Greg and Lynn make it spectacular. It's the best stuffing ever.
Somebody made
Number one, by the way, is not stuffing, and I would have thought so. Mashed potatoes.
Okay.
You got to have mashed potatoes. This is what I should have thrown out at Bob at the end, because I don't. A lot of people bring this. I don't get it. Macaroni and cheese.
Yeah, that's
No,
crazy. I mean,
it's not traditional.
That's on top.
It's number 2.
the Pilgrims did
that's
not have that.
ridiculous.
No, the Pilgrims did not, because Stouffer's wasn't around
That's
yet.
right.
That's
Yeah.
right. 3 is stuffing. 4 is gravy. 5 cornbread.
Okay.
Brussels sprouts 6. The candied yam 7. Then the bottom part was sweet potatoes, roasted vegetables. I don't get cranberry sauce, glazed carrots. That goes with a roast, not turkey.
Yeah.
Green bean casserole, corn, and then not only a side dish, but a very fun game to get your cardio on, squash.
Okay.
So
Squash is bigger than that. That's weird. These are weird lists. But anyway, nice
Good luck.
job.
And
Nice
happy
job, Ryan.
Thanksgiving.
Talking.
Ryan, what did the turkey think? He liked it.
All right.
There you go.
Tailgate rolls on right after this. All right, back here on the tailgate, the investigation underway to the who's picking these lists for ahead or behind. Ryan, I'm not throwing Ryan under the bus. But
I'm telling you right now, there's comments coming in worldwide already saying that could be one of the best ahead or behinds ever.
yeah, there's some questionable decisions there. Let's bring in our
People
Cleveland
still
sports
wanna know when
fan
you're gonna win.
of the week, Brendan Fan.
How are you guys?
We're doing
good.
good. He's repping the Garage Beer Throne. Very comfortable over there.
I feel great.
Wanted to get you on because we were talking about how the Browns fans refused to leave this game on Thursday night, and you stuck it out. You're a diehard. You're in school at Bowling Green, but you're a diehard Browns fan. You come back for the game here. So tell us, was that fact that no one was bailing on that game?
The only people I saw leaving actually were Steelers fans, like towards the end. So I was waving goodbye at them. So
You know what's great about Steeler fans is they're leaving in a loss, and I think it's comforting to know that they brought that stupid towel that they can use to wipe the tears and blow their schnoz.
They were sitting on it because the seats were
The
cold.
seats
Yeah,
were
the
cold.
towel was angering me all night. Like I was really annoyed by that. Like if we lost, that would have been my least favorite.
Oh, they
part of the
run
night.
when they beat you, they'll do this in your
Well,
face.
they
and-
do it.
The whole stadium was like vibrating every time they got a good play. It was like 50-50 ratio Browns Steelers.
And that's why we need a new stadium.
Hey, Brendan,
Vibrating.
Browns came in 2-8. Steelers were 8-2. A lot of talk about, well, just like, we've seen Cleveland fans do, they're going to sell the tickets, okay? And you're going to see a lot of terrible towels throughout the stadium. Was it that bad?
Yeah, I would say it was that bad yesterday. Like when Pat Fryermuth made a big catch,
You
like,
could hear him go,
just,
"Moo."
Yeah, and like
Mm.
whenever like when not James Conner, Jalen Warren scored that touchdown, the stadium was shaking. Like I could compare it to when Garrett got the sack week 1 last year, when the stadium was just shaking with our fans. It was shaking with Steelers fans.
So
Well,
that
it was
so
pretty
that accounts
disappointing.
for where we said earlier in the show, guys, that nobody left this game. You know why the Browns fans didn't leave? That's how much they hate the Pittsburgh fans.
Yeah.
They're like, you think we're gonna walk out right now when leave you idiots to sit here with these towels? So that's what it is, and they come in like clusters. You don't get like 2 Steeler fans. You ever notice it? I think they're malignant
I was
clusters.
at the hotel where the fans went to see my brother was in town. Went down there, Steeler fans all over the place having brunch.
Mm.
Oh, and it didn't include like sausage and beers. It was brunch, quiche, things like that.
Is brunch ahead or
Oh,
behind? All right, sorry.
Depends on who picks the list.
Oh,
Let's get to the
man.
Cavaliers.
Commissioner does.
Let's get to the Cavaliers here. And Brendan, jump in whenever you want. I know you're a big Cavs fan. You go to the games there as well. So they go to Boston. They lose that game. You had to have the feeling. So the streak ended with that. But you had to have the feeling that these certainly may be, we'll see what Milwaukee does, the 2 best teams in the Eastern Conference. And you can easily see them meeting again in the playoffs, in the finals.
No doubt.
Conference finals.
No doubt. And for the Cavs team, and I loved how Atkinson coached that game, it was a teachable moment. It's a huge setting. It's Boston Garden. They're the champs. There's all the banners. and we're the undefeated team, and they couldn't wait for us to come in and be undefeated. Unfortunately, Garland and Mitchell reverted back to hero ball, dribble, 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 shoot, dribble, dribble. Where was the passing? Where was and Atkinson, to his credit, let it go on and even allowed that to build. I'm like, are you going to stop this? And then he did, and he went to the bench. And then they went back into the new Cavalier basketball. Porter Jr. came in and played great. All the bench guys, Bob, came in and played great. So it was a learning experience. They only lose by 3, and then they come back and they beat the Pelicans by 28.
A lot of it comes down to, we were talking about too, even with football. You don't want to. If you can have a star and a bunch of other people playing around him, but he's got to take the shot. LeBron's got to take the shot all the time. And in this kind of thing, somebody's usually trying to step forward to be the guy because the guy is cool. Being the guy is cool. So you start seeing more of the dribble, dribble, dribble shot. Instead of staying with the passing, the aggressiveness. That,
and I think it almost reminded Brennan. You're a big Cavs fan. If you remember the playoffs last year, we lose 4 games to 1. Whenever the panic set in, which is what Bob's talking about, they revert back to, oh, God, it's Boston. There's the leprechaun. And then Mitchell, dribble, 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 shoot. That's not what they're doing this year. And don't you think they're a lot better when, as Bob said, everyone's involved and everyone's
moving
passing.
the ball around fast, right? We're finding the guys inside. I like when our point guards are trying to, like, drive guys, like, to guard them, and then we kick it out inside of, like, Mobley or Jared Allen. I love the way Mobley's playing this year. He's playing so aggressive. Like, he figured out that he's 6'11", 7 foot, and that he can dunk the ball whenever he pleases.
They're for real, and we're going to see him again very shortly, right? In a week or two, we're going to see the Celtics again. But I'm talking in May in the conference finals when you could easily see that these two could square off. And by the way, it kind of reminded me, for years we'd go cover the Cavaliers with LeBron on the road, and the Celtics had that young trio, those young guys.
Arnett, Allen, and
no. Post them. They had the guys they have now, Tatum, Brown. And,
okay.
And
I thought you were going for the
Marcus
other.
Smart was still on the team. Couldn't get past LeBron, right? They weren't good enough. They were good. You could see it coming. And then, of course, they came of age, and now they're the team you got to get past. And the Cavaliers are trying to be that team to knock them off the throne.
And also, to be fair to the Celtics, no Porzingis. And when he's in, that's a whole nother weapon, a big guy that can shoot. One team I can tell you won't have to worry about in the Eastern Conference Finals is, how about a nice hand for the Philadelphia 76ers? Are they doing? Has anyone told them the year started yet? I don't know. Does anyone? What the hell are they doing?
Well,
and Paul George could get hurt from going from indoor-outdoor carpeting to shag. They are a hot mess. And when your head coach, who's a good coach, Nick Nurse, said, these guys get deflated very easily. And he said it's not a good trait. No. And I don't know how you coach your way out of it.
I don't know.
And we talked about emotion in a game and how you feel if you start having success. You play better like Jameis does. But they're certainly in a place where their record is down. And now, as soon as they start realizing, oh, crap.
Yeah, here we go again.
Same old. Well, and everybody kind of freaks and plays less.
Yeah. But we're 16-1 and looking pretty good. All right. When we come back, final segment, doing the picks, Chucky's keys to the game. Stick around. All right, back here on the tailgate, it is time for
Chucky's keys to the game.
And we're off. Lions, my team to win the Super Bowl this year. They're going to do it this year.
God, I hope so.
Me too.
For John Dorsey, that would be great.
I was thinking for the city, too.
And by the way, have them play the Chiefs, so it's a Dorsey Super Bowl.
That'd be spectacular. Lions at Colts. Lions are 9-1. They've yet to lose on the road. They're riding high. They put a ton of points up, as you know, and they're giving points here. Bob, they're giving the Colts 7.
I'm still going Lions. I just like the way they're playing. They feel good for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, I'm going Lions as well because they if it's a bad team, they take no prisoners. That coach says put your foot on their neck and keep stomping.
Brendan.
Lions.
Ryan.
Lions.
Oh, across the board, I got the
Those
Lions.
two are the only two that followed the rules. You
quick.
just said Lions.
He's
gotta
the
be- oh, my
commissioner.
God.
And by
All
the
right.
way, Ryan's now in on the picks, and that means at the end of the year, watch him win it.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't be surprised. Cowboys at Commanders. Cowboys are a mess. You got to see a coaching change coming there, obviously. But right now, the Commanders are giving them 10.
Where is it?
Washington.
Washington. Because if it was Dallas, I would say it's definitely Washington winning. They are 0-5 at home. They average losing by over 20 points a game. And I'm going to take the Commanders and also know this.
Giving 10.
Know
Yeah.
this. They just acquired old RFK Stadium, Bob, and that's what they're going to tear down and put up a new RFK Stadium for the Redskins/Commanders.
RFK Jr. Stadium.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
All right,
Nice. You'll
then.
have healthy food at the
I
stadium.
know it's 10 points, but I'm going to go with the Commanders. Just that I think they're getting to the point where they know if they finish strong, obviously the playoffs are right there for them. So I think
They got to
they're gonna
hang
be
with
on
the
top of
Eagles,
their game.
too, because the
Brendan.
Eagles got hot.
Absolutely.
Cowboys getting 10.
I got the Commanders, honestly.
Ryan.
Commanders. Cowboys suck.
That was succinct.
I got the Commanders as well. That's another one. Clean
Yeah.
slate across the board. 49ers at Packers. Green Bay giving 2 points. 49ers, I mean, yeah, tough year, huh?
I'll be quick.
Banged up.
Niners, this is a must-win. Shanahan knows it. They have to have this to keep pace. They're not a 500 team. McCaffrey's there. The weapons are there. They got to win.
I'm going to go with the 49ers also. I think that they've got.
All right.
Give me the Packers. I like the way LaFleur prepares his team for big games, honestly.
49ers.
49ers. I got the Packers as well.
Next
I'm with
time
Brendan.
Brendan comes for that response, he's going to sit there with a block of cheese on his head.
All right. Let me get to the Ravens at the Chargers. A marquee matchup
Yes.
here. And the Ravens are giving 3 on the road.
Chargers, Bob, surprisingly good at home, even though it's not their home, it's the Rams' home.
Yeah,
but they play surprisingly well at SoFi. Harbaugh, as Tony mentioned a couple weeks back, watch him start to be the difference. That's exactly what's happened. I'll take the coach, Herbert, and them at home. I'll go with the Bolts.
I'm going to go with anybody who has a Cooper Kupp on their team. I think is going to be the team to beat, and so I'm going to go with the Chargers also.
Isn't-
Wait, he's not on that team.
I didn't
He's not
want
a
to.
Charger. I'm thinking.
You're thinking
same thing
LA.
with the Rams.
I didn't want to say
LA.
anything.
I did it to you. I said they
Chargers. I'm still going to go with the Chargers. I think we're talking about a Raven team that is just not
Raven,
altogether.
You said Ravens, Chargers?
Yeah.
Give me the Ravens.
Ravens.
I got the Ravens too. Lamar burns it up on Monday Night Football. He's great. All right, we got about 2 minutes left here.
Yeah.
And Thanksgiving is a spectacular day for more reasons than one.
The biggest is all of us have played in a turkey bowl, I take it, where you come home from college, you're praying it's going to snow like the Browns game the other night. All your buddies are there. You bring the Nerf football, and here we go. And it's such a great tradition, and I wanted to know if you guys also played in some turkey bowls, Tom.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in New England high school football, we played on Thanksgiving morning. It's a big tradition.
Wow, that's great.
It's awesome. You play at 10:30 in the morning against your rival, then you come home and dinner's ready, and it's one of the greatest things of the year.
Love it.
And then the turkey bowls for us would happen the next day on Friday with your buddies. And so
Gotta
of
have
course,
that one.
I was never allowed to be in those games because my dad would always say, Bobby, you don't want to get hurt playing around doing something stupid, and you got the big game coming up on Saturday or Sunday.
Oh, yeah,
So
that's
I
right.
would sit back and go, okay. Well, I was the only cheerleader in the sidelines for the turkey bowls.
But it's a special time and it's a memory.
It
So I'm
really
glad you
is.
brought it up.
Yeah, it really is, and it's something that people love the most. And also, Thanksgiving is also a time to be thankful. Real quick, around the table for everybody. I'm thankful for November 5th. Thank God for November 5th, Tony.
I'm thankful for family and friends, and you guys are on the list. Bob, we got about 20 seconds.
family and friends and November 5th.
There you
I
go.
Brendan.
want both.
I'm thankful for that snow globe game last night.
Awesome.
Nice.
Ryan.
I'm grateful for everything, guys.
All right, thanks,
Nice.
man. We're
And you
thankful
know what
for
we're
Tailgate
thankful
and
for?
you.
FanDuel.
Yeah, thanks, man. Enjoy the holidays.